Alright, imagine this. It's 1978, New York City, and the police receive a frantic 911 call from a woman screaming that her neighbors have been murdered. But when they show up, there's no forced entry, no blood, no signs of struggle, just 5 people sitting silently at a table, dead, with bowls of soup in front of them. It's a real life locked room mystery that has baffled investigators, conspiracy theorists, internet sleuths for decades. No one can figure out how they died or, like why they were all sitting there as if they just dropped dead mid meal. So, I want to talk about the soup kitchen murders. This is one of the creepiest unsolved cases you've probably never heard of. Okay, so here's what we know. 1978, February 17th. The 5 victims were part of a small, tight-knit community in Lower Manhattan. They lived in the same building and shared weekly dinners, which were hosted at random apartments like a little potluck rotation. On this particular night, though, they gathered at the home of 36-year-old Martha Bailey. She was a quiet school teacher, so really nothing sus. Now here's where it gets wild. At 9:30 p.m., Martha's downstairs neighbor, Claire, hears a loud crash followed by a silence. She ignores it at first, but later when she goes down to check, she finds all 5 people dead at a dining table. The police arrive to find what can only be described as a horror movie scene with zero explanation. All of them had this look of pure terror, like they'd seen something unspeakable right before they died. The bowls of homemade soup were still steaming when they were found, only like they'd been dead for a few minutes. And weirdest of all, no signs of forced entry, no signs of struggle, and, this is key, no physical injuries on any of the victims. So what could have killed 5 people at the same time in the same place without leaving any clues? This is where the theories start piling up. The first and most obvious theory is that someone poisoned the soup. But here's the weird thing. The toxicology reports came back completely clean. No arsenic, no cyanide, no nothing. The soup wasn't poisoned, and neither were their drinks. Second thing they considered was carbon monoxide. The building was old, so the investigators thought, maybe a faulty gas line caused a sudden leak. But when they tested the air, everything was normal. No gas leaks, no fumes were coming out. Now, here's where things take an even weirder turn. The case went cold within weeks. No suspects, no leads, no new evidence. But in the years that followed, other eerily similar deaths started propping up. In 1982, 4 people were found dead in a small Chicago apartment, also sitting at a table with food in front of them. Same deal. No signs of forced entry, no physical injuries, no toxins in their system. In 1987, a family of 3 was found in Brooklyn in almost identical circumstances. Dinner table, untouched food, looks of terror. And each time, the same questions came up, and each time, the answers never came. So, what really happened during the soup kitchen murders? Whatever the truth is, no one's figured it out in over 40 years. It's one of those stories that lingers in the back of your mind, honestly. For me, it's like that creepy reminder that sometimes the world doesn't make sense, and maybe it's better that way. So the next time you sit down and eat with your friends, just make sure to check the soup, lock the doors, and maybe keep one eye out for Selena, because you never know what or who might be watching. Like and subscribe for more.